Good afternoon, everyone. It's Marco Zannini, and I'm here to introduce you the new webinar for 101CAFFE. And the main subject, the main topic is what are the advantages to open a 101CAFFE store in franchising compared with the opening of an independent one. It's me, even if some kilos ago. I am Marco Zannini. I work as a business developer for 101CAFFE, and I work everywhere in the world, from Italy to any other country. So here I review what are the subjects in our webinar. So why would I run a store or coffee shop, 101CAFFE, buy a business model in franchising? I will introduce you the 101CAFFE franchising network, the importance of the know-how to start a business, any one business in the world, the headquarters initiatives for 101CAFFE brand development, and why is integration of the physical and online sales channel essential to start a business in retail today. Okay, we start from the first one. What it means franchising. Franchising is an alliance between two entrepreneurs with a common target to have a profitable business. So the franchisor is the one that shares the right to use the brand and sell products or services through a specific know-how. Know-how is the milestone of franchising and the difference between franchising and affiliation, concession, or license agreements. So all of them are agreements for a partnership, but most of affiliation, concession, and most of all license are commercial agreements, while franchising is a strong connections in sharing know-how. Franchisee is the partner receiving by the franchisor information about the know-how. Exactly. So what is franchising in synthesis? Is a mix between brand, range, know-how, and assistance. What I mean? I mean that you can expose a signage, you can have one brand, but if you don't have inside the brand, if you don't have one range, and most of all, know-how and assistance, you don't have franchising. Okay, I get one brand, I get one product, later I am not able to sell it. What can I do? Outside of franchise, that's your problem. Inside franchise, that's a problem between the franchisee and the franchisor. So it's a question to solve for both of us. And here we provide you our know-how, here we provide you our assistance to manage compliance, to manage inquiries, to manage sales process, to manage the range of products, to manage in general the business and everything. In franchising, you find franchisor, franchisees. Franchisees could be single unit, multi-unit, master franchisee. So it depends by your target and by your will and by what you are really able to do. So why should I prefer a franchising model today? Well, you know what is the general situation all over the world. Franchising is a system. So today you would like to run a new unit by yourselves. You take all of the risk for you because, well, you select products, you select range, you select, you decide selling prices, you decide everything by your own, you take all the risk for you. And you, I think all of you, you know what is the situation right now. So risk, well, what you can get with the franchising is that the franchisor can reduce strongly the risk to face big mistakes due to inexperience and costs for running due to difficulties you can find in having an independent distribution. Regia? Okay, thanks. So 101CAFFE is a franchise well-based for a growing market. We are very lucky in this time because we work in a segment that is continuously moving and continuously growing. Here I talk about anything connected with coffee. So with the idea about coffee shop are in difficulties for restrictions, for limitations, but not in mind of investors. So investors have also the idea that coffee shop will be successful also after pandemic, and a single portion is growing continuously. This is a tendency before 2020. This is a tendency continued in 2020 and 2021. Well, here the identity of franchisees, we discussed a little bit before, self-employment, so single unit, multi-unit, and master franchisee developer. Regia? Okay. Well, I introduced the two main figures in franchise. So franchisor and franchisee. My boss, our founder and CEO, Mr. Umberto Gonnella, highlighted many times that it's necessary to respect the different roles of the franchisor and the franchisee for the most efficient franchising system. The franchisor has the role of providing franchisees with the best tools to work in a comfortable situation and to focus mainly on the sales and achievement of turnover targets. So your job is to sell. Your job is to get results. Our job is to provide you tools to get your results. And that's it. The franchisee, on the other hand, has the extremely important role of contributing with his experience in the field to increase the precious know-how shared with the whole network. What I mean? I mean that if, well, you have no experience in coffee, we can provide you experience in coffee. If you have no experience in retail or in food and beverage, or in Horeca, if you have no experience in preparing 1 cup of cappuccino, this is a know-how we can provide you. But no one can understand the territory, the final customer, better than you, because you live on site. You are in the territory and you are in the field. So you can understand better what people would like to get, how to adapt slightly what we provide you in terms of know-how and so on. And this is absolutely crucial in any franchising relation. What about the network? The network today consists of 150 units. As you can see, we have a lot of units already open, but we have a rich list of next openings. Next openings are places where we already have the preliminary. Sometimes we are looking for the location, sometimes we are on running for the opening, because there are units that will open next week. I remind for sure Varese will open next week. And well, what I mean here is also that we are continuously opening. Maybe you will think that, oh, well, Italy is a particular place and maybe restrictions are different, maybe regulations are different, but that's not. We are food retail, and food retail could work everywhere is allowed. I know that this is allowed in France, this is allowed in Belgium, in Germany, in Netherlands, in UK, in Ireland, and in Spain, in Portugal, and more or less everywhere in European Union. You can buy food and beverage, so you can run and you can work with a unit for food and beverage. Well, here our development all over the world. We have again units that are on running. Marseille is on running. We are only waiting for the French bureaucracy to finally open the unit. Here we miss Tripoli, is the last one we finalized for an opening. Of course, as you can see, there are some already moving, some that we will wait a little bit more due to the situation. But again, here we have preliminaries, we have agreements, we sometimes already have the location, but without being ready for a question of authorization. In Vienna, for example, we got the location since last June, but we were not able to open because it was in the central station, and the central station was in danger for a question of pandemic. We can move to the next one. Okay, here our mission. It's quite simple to explain. We build a strong Italian identity for espresso coffee packaged in pods and capsule too. So we provide all over the world our Italian identity. We provide the idea that what you get in terms of excellence for coffee is Italian, and is not only Italian, but is also local. I told you that it's very important your local connection with your customers. Well, we are not only connected locally with our customers, but we are also connected locally with the roasters. So our roasters are not the biggest one, you know, but are local roasters. So we have coffee varieties coming from Naples, coming from Torino, coming from Milano, coming from Sicily, because in fact, the roasting companies are there. Our business models, I introduce you quite quickly because later we have all of time to go better in details. We have the store. The store is the first concept we created. We were born as retailers, and the store is a place where you buy food and beverage. And this is what I told you. So no problem to open, no problem to run, no problem to have open also in pandemic time. And well, what he experienced comparing the data between 2020 and 2019, but also between January, February 2021, 2020, is that we increased in sales. Because again, people cannot take his cup of coffee in coffee shop, cannot take his cup of coffee in restaurant, cannot take his cup of coffee in the company maybe for smart working, but they can buy a coffee maker and they can buy more products for home use. We increased everywhere, not only in Italy, but everywhere we opened. Later we built a concept bigger. That's CAFFE plus market is a concept where you have sittings. It's a traditional coffee shop, but we called CAFFE with the payoff gourmet Italiano to engage people with our identity, because we are 101% Italian. Here the surface is bigger. You can work with consumption, local consumption on site from since the morning to the evening, with breakfast, coffee break, lunch, quick lunch, ice cream, and anything else. And with a portion of the location that is dedicated to the market, so to sell our products, because we never forget our identity. And later we went in the middle with the store plus takeaway coffee shop. So here we talk about a small surface that fits very well with the present situation. A small surface from 30 to 50 square meters, where you have together at the same level, you have retail and counter. Counter is to have your breakfast locally or to get your breakfast and go away. Here we don't create complications in technology. The management is very, very easy. The investment is also a little bit lower, and the concept is could be also for self-employment depending on the location. Of course, in coffee shop, surface is bigger, investment is bigger, and you need to have salaries inside. Finally, coffee truck. Coffee truck is a particular business connected with the license, because you need to stay on a place, and you need to have the license to stay there. Because our truck or our APK are coffee shop on the road. So one place to another one, but you take your you take your place and you provide breakfast, lunch, and so on. Here are some pictures. I go quite quickly. Here the store, just to give you an overview. Later we have retail plus takeaway coffee shop. As you can see, the surface is not big at all, but you have both of things. So you have together retail and counter. Later, we find a coffee shop plus market, where you can see you have places to sit down. The counter is the big face for you, and well, the retail on the right side is not so big. So the retail is a portion. So you come to take your breakfast, to take your lunch, to take what you would like to take, and you can also buy the same one. So I drink my Napoletano because I don't drink coffee in 101 Cafe, but I drink Napoletano coffee, I drink Sicilia coffee, I select my cup of coffee, and later I can also buy the same for my home use. Well, we can move on perfectly. As I introduced you, well, the stores are always open. Of course, if the shopping mall is completely closed, you cannot stay open, and this is normal. And this is not dependent by the kind of activity, and also it doesn't depend by the franchisor or by the franchisee. Anyway, in regular situation, and also in not the regular situation, you can stay safe and you can stay open. But we provided any equipment to face with the emergency. So when the customer comes inside the location, comes inside the store, he finds what is necessary by regulation. Here the range is huge. It's not only big, it's huge. 1,600 products. More over than 600 are branded 101 Cafe. No one in the world has the same range in width. No one in the world has so many tastes and so many technologies. So we work with 11 different capsules, 2 different pods, soluble beans and ground coffee. And we work with coffee, gourmet coffee, so flavored, already sweetened, but also other hot drinks, but also no sugar, no lactose, no gluten, no GM. And again, chocolate, tea, infusion, chamomile, and finally the sounds. And here, what I explained you a little bit before, so that we have not only an Italian identity, but also a regional identity. Because when you drink 1 cup of Napoletano or 1 cup of Gran Milano, well, that's true that you are always drinking coffee, but it's absolutely different. It's absolutely different. So Napoletano, for example, is the tradition of Naples. So dark roasted, bitter, very strong in mouth, very strong in taste. And this is also the most popular blend we have everywhere in the world. And this is the winner of Product of the Year 2019-2020. Gran Milano is a blonde, is a mild blend, blonde roasted, so medium light roasted. And this is more delicate, and well, it likes the same. So Gran Milano won the award Product of the Year 2020-2021. Again, okay, here an example about the range. You can see how many different packaging you find for the same blend. Because Sicilia could be sold to the customer in ground, in beans, compatible capsule with Nespresso, with Dolce Gusto, with Lavazza, with anyone else. Okay, and again, just to complete the range, if you miss something, we have coffee makers. Coffee makers are our production. So, of course, as you can see here, you can find also the most important, the most well-known commercial makers by Nestlé. But we have our own coffee makers. At present, we have 4 models. We are moving 5 new models, all of them branded 101CAFFE, but also produced and engineered by 101CAFFE. So we know very well the makers, we have the technology, we have the production in hand, we have the assistance in hand. Again, you find all of accessories connected with coffee, so the grinder, so the milk frother, so the filter jugs to have a clean water, and also anything connected with the drinking of coffee, so biscuits, sugars, chocolate, toppings, cream. Now we are moving, we moved last week filter tea, and now we are moving also honey and marmalade. You have everything to engage your customers also in upselling, more than coffee. Okay, here some info about the market. The market is strong. We discussed a little bit about it. The market never stopped to grow, never. Also in 2020, again. This is particularly true for the single portion, but people love coffee. People love coffee everywhere in the world. I remind that some years ago, people were not so comfortable to drink an espresso because sometimes, depending by the country, it was too much strong. It was maybe too much bitter. And now, well, I was very surprised when I had an exhibition, a franchise exhibition in Singapore 3 years ago, and I discovered that people in Singapore like to take the coffee with no sugar because they would like to taste the real aroma, the real taste of coffee. Okay. 101CAFFE is also in membership with Franchise Association. The most important we have in Italy are Confimprese and Fede Franchising, where our CEO and founder is a member of the board of directors. And starting from December 2017, Food Empire Holdings joined us as a partner, even if the company is an Italian company, and well, we follow our tradition to take Italian coffee everywhere in the world. But Food Empire is a very strong partner and also with a very strong experience because they have a lot of experience, most of all in soluble and most of all in Russian and Asian market for food and beverage. Here our team, offices, and later logistics and production. You can see, well, logistics is 2,500 square meters. You can see we are a lot. We are a lot of guys, and well, you don't need to hire all of us, but we work, all of us work for you. Okay, the importance of know-how to start a business. Know-how is the real key. I think this is not a mystery, but well, when you open a new activity, it's very important for us that our franchisees understand the value of the know-how, and that the entry fee is not the brand, as I heard a lot of time, but represents the network services, so products, logistics, warehouse, furnishings, training, advertising, technology, and anything connected, together with the know-how that is transferred to the franchisee. The know-how acquired thanks to all of the efforts, experiences, successes, mistakes, analysis, innovation, investments made, and last but not least, overcoming moment of crisis, such as the terrible experience of COVID-19. Well, our founder identified what is the key. The key is this one. As I told you, I experienced many times that people told me, oh, well, but the entry fee is the brand. Entry fee is not the brand. The brand could be the same also in license. In license, you can also get the brand, you get the product, and later that's your business. In franchising, this is not the same. I experienced, I have experiences where people approached me without having also information about how it works, any kind of business in their country. Many times I told people what are their customs fees, because they don't know. They have customs fees, if they have, if they don't have, how much they are, and so on. That's a question of experience. When you start with a business, when you start with something new, you need to understand what you do. You need to have support also in the study, and later you need to have support in the daily business. So now, how are the operational skills necessary to manage a specific activity? That in the franchising system are transmitted from the headquarters, so from the franchisor to the franchisee. And well, to be honest, it happens the opposite. So in franchising, what could happen, and it happens, is that we get suggestion, we get feedback, we get new ideas from our network, from our franchises. This is true in Italy, this is true outside. We sometimes moved new campaigns, we sometimes moved new products starting from inquiries from our network, and sometimes our network told us, oh, well, this is something new, I never heard about it, this is a great idea. So we give something to you and you give something to us. And this is, again, this is franchising. This is not a private business that you have, and this is not a relation client-supplier. That's not. So the know-how you need to manage a store. Well, here we can also go outside franchise. This is true every time. You need to have a good stock management. So you need to understand what do you have, what do you miss. If you sell everything and what you are not selling. If you have goods that are expiring, or if you have goods that you don't need to have. And finally, if the product is expiring because you received it with a short shelf life, or you are not able to sell it. Well, you can figure that in irregular business, well, you buy something. I come back again to the license. I come back again to the brand. I have the brand. You buy one product from the brand, you have it to sell, and later you don't sell it. That's your business. In our situation, if you don't sell it, you lose money, we lose money, both of us. But that's also a question of sustainability of the business. And that's also a question that engage you and us to have a brainstorming. Why don't you sell it? Is this a question of pricing? Is this a question of quality? Is this a question of packaging? Is this a question of layout? Is the question that you don't believe in it? I received also this kind of feedback from franchisees. Oh, well, I believe a lot about this product, so I sell. I sell a very, very high quantity because I like it. I like it. I like the idea. I like the taste. Well, I am the first customer of myself. And sometimes it's the opposite. I don't like, so I think that people will not like it. But you need to know about it. Well, again, talking about know-how. Sorry, Regia, the one before. Thank you. The know-how you need to manage a store include also suppliers. So how much do I have to buy? Who should I buy from? Where should I buy? And how will I manage the unsold items? Unsold items are a question I explored right now. But later there is a mutual question between the kind of supplier and the range. I am in experience with people that are approaching us because they tell me, oh, well, since now I was in coffee business, but I had, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 suppliers. This is very hard to manage for a question of MOQ, for a question of payments, for a question of logistics, for a question of finding products. It's very hard. Now I move to you because I can find everything from just one partner that is not only a supplier, but is also a partner. So for example, we have a stock for all of network. You don't need to work on demand. You can work on our stock. So you don't need to have MOQs because we don't realize productions for you. We move what you order. We move what you need. And this is a completely different way to think in trading. Because in the traditional trading, you order, people prepare for you, so they have production and they sell to you on demand. But we have our stock. So when you move your order, we already have the goods available in our warehouse. This is the reason why we have so huge logistics. The same is for the selection of the range. You are free to select your range. You are free to select your products. We have more than 600 branded 101. You can start with the selection we define together. You don't need to work with 600. Not today, not tomorrow, not at any time. You can close one code if people doesn't like it. There are some products very popular in one country and not popular in others. This is not strange. That's a question of local taste. So don't you sell it, you don't take it. Why not? You need to have what you sell and you need to sell what you have. Regia, we can move. Okay. So solution is to have a solid and full know-how. You get it in management with a software system that is trustable and tested, updated, improved, and supported by assistance. So how do you check margin, turnover, what you sell, what you don't? You do it by a software system. Because, and well, stay tuned, because every time you have a local customization, you usually increase cost. You also have to consider that if you offer something independent, you need to create everything. You need to select the software by your own. That's another one point. It could be easy because maybe you are already skilled in it. It could be easy because you have a good provider, but it could be something very hard and something very costly. Regia, okay. So the other one solution, know-how acquisition. Okay, you have a good software. You selected your range by your own. You selected your suppliers by your own. Now you open. You also selected the location by your own, furnitures, layout, design, brand, name, and everything. Now you open. What it happens? It happens that, okay, you open and you check what happens. Later, maybe you have very, very good results. Maybe you don't. What do you do if you don't have very good results? Because here you don't have experience and here you don't have support. Of course, I'm talking about an independent unit. So you can, well, you can work with a sort of trial and error. And this is something that sometimes happens. Or you can get the experience from others. And this is something, for example, that is part of franchise. Well, here we come back again about the software. I told you how much the software is important. I told you also some of these points. You need to understand and set up correctly what is the minimum stock you need to have, how and when place orders, okay, and what order, to manage the financials, so the payments, to manage a loyalty program, because through the software you can also manage a loyalty program. This is quite common in softwares. Of course, this is something we have in our own software. And finally, there is the question of the business intelligence. So you have the data coming back to you. So what is my daily result? I get it. What is my weekly result? I get it. What is my monthly result? I get it. I get it every time. So I can fix my budget, I can fix my target by my own, and I can understand how he's doing, how the business is doing. Later, advice and consultancy. I am here for the question of general overview about the commercial, but we have one lady working as a visual merchandiser. We have a department in communication that work together with you about setting up graphics, promotions, setting up the pricing. Okay, in commercial, you usually discuss with me. In graphics, you usually discuss with graphic again. And selling process, we have our trainer. So again, here I am a support, but we have our trainers. We have more people working in training for the opening, but also most of all later after the opening. Because today you open, you are very happy, you get your first results. Later, well, you finish the training program, you have 1 week before, 1 week later the opening. The trainer come back in Italy, and oh well, now I am alone. But this is not true. You are not alone now. I need to ask anyone if I have any doubt, if I have an inquiry, if I have any question to analyze. So you are in touch with the company, not with one guy, but with one company, with many departments working with specific skills for each people inside the company. Well, we discussed about the products. That is an important component of the know-how. Okay. Here only a screen about our platform for training. You can see that we have a lot of tools, even if it was a little bit short. But we have many chapters. Okay, some initiatives from the headquarters for the development of the brand. Here you can see some communication strategy. We realized also in multi-language tutorial about how to manage the maker, how to enlarge the life of the maker, how to make it better. We can see a little bit our tutorial. Thanks, Regia. Yeah, no problem to use the play. That's only an example. Okay, it was again only an example, just to let you know what we do. This is our maker, so we know how to manage it. We know how to take it, to get it clean. We know how to educate the customer to drink something better for quality and for health. Because you don't have to underestimate that if the technology is good and is well maintained, you get something better when you eat or drink something. So later, now we show you our prices in the next Regia, you can go in the next slide. You can see that we are the winner of Retailer of the Year 2020, 2021, and also 2019, 2020. We won 2 times in last 2 years, every time against Nespresso. And this is the election day of the customers. So the customers elect what is the best retailer in their opinion. We won 2 times this one, we won 3 times Product of the Year in the last 3 years. So that's a question of proud, and this is something we can tell everywhere in the world. Here we show you a little bit of our brand identity and the winner of Product of My Heart, Gran Milano.
Oh mia bella Madonnina, che te brilla di lunta, tutta d'oro e piscinina, ti te domine Milano. Sotto a ti se vive la vita, se sta mai coi mani in mano, canten tu lontan de Napoli se mere, mammila, Leon Gramila.
This is Milano. And in fact, this is the identity of Milano. The song is a sort of hymn about the city of Milano. So our customer experience, well, the customer experience in 101CAFFE. We engage people with our warm welcoming, and it involves the taste with the degustation area. Warm colors to create our layout. Well, they are familiar, they are warm, they invite people to enter. The coffee aroma inside the unit, the Italian music, the same, transmitted at the same time everywhere in the world with our web radio. The lights, of course, and the packaging, both of them are studied to engage customers, to engage the eyes of the customer. Here you can see some screen about our stores, just to let you have a general overview. And here we discuss a little bit the in-store communication. So, of course, communication is based on the products you have in store, the arrangements of goods and shelf, so also the general design and the general layout, visual merchandising, visual displays, graphics, communication and promotion. Everything you have inside your unit, give a communication to the customer. Engage or reject the customer. So important topics that could move something depending by the place, depending by the time, could be located, well, could be connected with the local market or local specific events, and could be seasonal. So, for example, of course, if you are in Germany, if you are in Munich, and if you are in regular situation, of course, in October you can involve people with the communication, also connected maybe with a sponsorship with Oktoberfest. But this is only a general example to provide you a better idea. This is the brand identity. This is the company video. This is the spot we had for the Italian television last year.
Benvenuto in 101 Caffè, i negozi con la più ampia gamma al mondo di caffè e bevande, in cialde e capsule, grani e macinati, per tutte le macchine da caffè. Qualche anno fa abbiamo deciso di far entrare nei nostri negozi solo la qualità, scegliendo esclusivamente torrefazioni italiane d'eccellenza.
Nasce così il caffè premium Mesdè, profumato come la mia terra.
O uno dal sapore tradizionale come il caffè Gran Milano in capsule compostabili.
Oppure il classico napoletano, lo Yam Ya.
Ma non ci siamo fermati. Abbiamo aggiunto le bevande più ricercate, come il nocciolino.
Bevande solubili, senza glutine e senza lattosio.
Tisana zenzerina, cicoria, biscottella.
Tè orzo e cappuccino.
E anche gli originali di tutte le marche, perché non potevano davvero mancare.
E cosa vogliamo dire delle ultime nate di 101 caffè?
Perché in 101 Caffè abbiamo il 101% dei tuoi gusti. 101 Caffè, scegli il tuo gusto.
That's our payoff. Choose your taste, because we have a lot. We also have training about how to drink coffee. So we also have training about the smell of the coffee and about anything connected with it. We discussed about the management software. So management software allows you to always keep the following elements under control: warehouse stock, order management, and the data, the business data. And that's it. We are 101% made in Italy. So you can find here our information. In the last slide, you will find a video we realized for to thank all of customers in the world. That's 101 grazie. Grazie in Italian is the translation of thanks. Now I leave a little bit of time to you for any question. Okay, I received one inquiry about how much it costs. Well, it depends by the model, it depends by the country, it depends by the situation. You know that, well, of course, that's a question about the cost of the franchise, but that's also a general question about the cost of the business. Because you know that, for example, if you move from Italy to another one place in European Union, or close to the European Union with no huge problems with borders, well, you can move also, you can start with a little bit less of goods because the continuous providing of supplies is not difficult. Of course, if the business is on the other side of the border, well, you probably will start with a bigger cost, with a little bit higher cost to move more goods, because that's a question of logistics, that's a question of customs. But franchise, what I always tell is that franchise is not a cup of coffee. So it's quite easy to reply about the question how much it costs one cup of coffee. But franchise is a business model, and we have more. We have 4, as you can see. What else? Because don't worry to make questions later. Because every time a webinar is a sort of a presentation of the company, a presentation about what we do. For sure, there are a lot of details more that we can discuss. You have all of our connections. You have the phone number, you have the email. Most of you already have my direct connections. And you know that I always reply. Maybe I take a little bit of time more, but I always reply. So if there are no questions more, well, I invite my colleague to show you also 101 grazie to close the webinar. So please, Regia, move the video. And we see our stores, a little bit about our store and our stuff.
Grazie!
101 grazie!
101 grazie! 101 grazie!
101 grazie!
101 grazie!
101 grazie!
101 grazie!
101 grazie!
101 grazie! 101 grazie! 101 grazie.
Ah, comunque 101 grazie.
101 grazie. 101 grazie. 101 grazie. 101 grazie.
101 grazie. 101 grazie.
Che dire, 101 grazie.
101 grazie.
101 grazie. 101 grazie.
101 grazie.
Well, you saw in the last second how many we are, and it was also a sort of homage to to all of our staff, to all of our franchisees, and well, I invite you to contact us to ask information with no problem. Well, I also invite you to move your inquiries. Again, don't be shy and don't lose time if you have questions, because we are receiving a lot of inquiries, and every time I tell people, okay, it's better you take your decision quite quickly if you are interested to join or you are not our network, before that another one take the exclusivity for the same area. Because I remind you that franchising, also for a question of regulation, but also for a commercial question, franchise include every time exclusivity, because we provide our products, we provide our know-how only inside the network, and the network need to have all of conditions to work properly. So there are no competition. There is no competition between a franchisee of us and another one franchisee of us. And that's it by my side. Thanks a lot to all of you. Get in touch and again, come back to me with no problems. Have a nice evening.